Well, we all knew it was coming. I got to figure out how they're going to do this in the DNC. How they're going to do this? Are they just going to have 4 or 5 people out there, and then all the delegates to vote on who wins it? It's bad enough they tried to kill Trump. Now they're doing this. If he is not ready to serve as president because of what happened to him at the debate, why doesn't he step down right now and let Harris be the president? It'll give people a little idea of what she would be as president, and then I guess there's going to be a broker convention to figure out who's actually going to be the nominee for the Democrats. I'm hearing things like Hillary, but I can't see that. I think that Hillary will lose as bad Biden was going to win or this year. They had to do it after the failed coup of trying to kill Trump. They had to do this because he knew that he was going to get a little bit more sympathy. And I thought his speech at the RNC, as much as the mainstream media was trying to say it wasn't, that it was too long and he was still a white nationalist, I thought it was pretty laid back. I think he is a changed man, but that's not going to. If it's Hillary, the gloves will come off. They absolutely will come off. And if that's the only way a woman can make it to the presidency, by Hillary Clinton, who's probably the most criminalized person there ever has been, or a woman who never did anything, that basically slept her life or up to the top. It's just like a theater now. It is. It's like a reality TV show. I don't know if I actually like it or not. I think that it does. This is what they want to do to keep power. They sat there and they knew forever that he had issues, but they're not going to do anything now because they know that everything's fallen away from him. Because after the debate, and then after the Trump assassination attempt, they know that Trump will get more and more sympathetic thing, and there are a lot of Democrats who won't come out and vote. This is going to be a bloodbath. It really is going to be. I don't know what to think. I really don't. I knew it was coming, and of course Vivek was continually correct about this. I went on Rumble just to see if people were talking about it, and I guess people are still. It's Sunday. Of course they do it on a Sunday. This is like doing a late 5 o'clock on a Friday. Do it on Sunday when everybody's at church or doing other things. We'll put it out. Just last week he said he was going to go do this, and his people said he was going to go do his shit, but now he's not going to do it because he decided he's going to listen to this party. I mean, then you really have to attack it. And the problem is it's very difficult now for the Republicans, because if you go out now and you say stuff like this, they're going to say you're basically attacking an old man who has admitted that he's got issues and he doesn't want to reelect himself. So there's a fine line here of what you can actually do, because my first instinct is to say this party knew all along that he had some issues for the last 3 or 4 years and didn't do anything about it, and allowed people in the background to run this country. And we've seen the result of that. And those same people now are basically telling Joe it's too far out there. He just got almost shot. He's going to win the election, and we have to keep power, because they still believe whatever it is, whoever runs for Republicans is basically Hitler. And they have to, in their mind, they think they have to stop it. Now I'm not talking about the rank and file Democrats that work like in Congress and stuff. They're all the same fucking people. I'm talking about the people who actually vote for him. And they think they have to pander to that base to say, because Trump is such a fucking Hitler type thing, that they're going to say shit like this. So I guess at this point, I think my first impression is that Gavin Newsom is probably going to win at the convention. Now, as a political junkie like myself, this is stuff I like to look into. I like to see this. After January 6th was another thing that I really want to see the whole thing play out. I wanted them to actually, I wanted the other senators and congressmen stand up and say, this is what we know, and have a conversation about it. But they didn't really allow that. And then the riot happened. Now, I have my own thoughts about that and how that was and how it was instigated. I think that the Republicans or the people there on the ground fell into it a little bit. But it is what it is now. So you see Biden, he's done. So, so I don't know exactly, but I think there's going to be that. I think we're going to find there's going to be 3 or 4 people there, and they'll go through the thing and have ballots in each time and see where it gets to, and they'll probably 2 at the end of that, and they'll come up with whoever they decide that they want to run for president. Now, I don't think that, unless if they just give it all to Harris, that would be the correct way to do it, because she's on the ticket, and that seems more plausible. But if someone gets passed over because they don't think that she'll be elected, it's going to be interesting. This party that thinks they're so tolerable or tolerant, it'll be interesting to see how that works. Because as they know right now, I don't think right now that they can win the presidency without the black vote. I mean, a lot of it, like 95% of it, how it is right now. I think that's was starting to go somewhat over to Trump, but obviously not in a huge majority, but enough that would give him leads in some of these states. And it's still 3 months, 4 months to the election, 5 months, 4 months to the election, that Trump can lose it just by being stupid, saying something stupid. So it's like, I mean, seriously, it's like, what do we do next? And now the other person has to react to it. And now the Democrats have done this. So now Trump is going to have to do something else. And he can only get so much of the vote, regardless of what happened to him. In these areas, I mean, the states, the election is going to come down to 4 or 5 states. And the fact is nobody's really stopped the mail-in stuff in a lot of these places. And we're still going to have fraud regardless. It wouldn't matter if the Republicans were allowed in their states and everybody just threw in their mail-in ballots, you would still have fraud. We had this discussion 15 years ago. Jimmy Carter had a whole black panel thing they did on it. Found out it's fraught with fraud. And clearly there was fraud in the last election. I'm not saying that Biden would have won anyway, but there clearly was fraud. There's no question about this. We've seen the videos. We've seen the people stuffing ballot boxes. We don't have any idea who actually signed these ballots. And in the states that are still allowed, they're going to still doing this, and they're going to overwrite this. And it's going to be very hard for a Republican to win there. And their biggest thing is like, we're going to have all these. Thank you. I hope that you guys will go. And I mean, I don't like the fact that Republicans are sitting there saying we're going to have all our lawyers there in places, and we're going to talk about things like this. And that's not how you're going to win this election. I mean, if Trump would have been shot dead, I have no idea what would happen to this country. But now the Democrats are doing this because they think there's no way now that they can beat Trump. So they're going to do this, and they're not going to sit there and say, well, we had no idea that he was already this way. I'm sure he's going to come out. He's going to be on so much amphetamines and all sorts of shit when he talks to the country, and everybody's going to feel sympathetic for him. It's the same thing. People are being sympathetic, some, for Trump. People that are independents and stuff that have been sympathetic to him because of what happened to him. Now the Democrats say, well, how can we get this back on our side? Now we're going to see this old 81-year-old man who's clearly failing cognitively. And as I know this because I have the same issues because of what happened to me. I can still form a thought. My problem is it's very difficult for me to get it out. But there's a difference between, I don't ever have like the gait that he has, or the facial expression that he has, and my mouth just holding down like I, I don't have that, but I do have issues where I have spots in my time where I veer off to the distance. My brain is not 100% ever after my strokes. Um, I still think that I could probably be a decent congressman or senator. I don't think I could deal with the stress of being the president. Not that I want to run for it, but like I said, as a thing, as a political junkies that I love stuff like this. Just looking at it at the 30,000 viewpoint, just looking down at it and say, how does this work? How I mean, if there was no real um, cost of whoever becomes president, but our country is changed so much in the last 20 years on both sides. This is a very important election. We can't have a, a radical liberal person to get in and then put more judges on the Supreme Court. We're going to have, it's just not good. People get upset with what Trump did. He put pretty much conservative, moderate conservatives on the court. If a liberal wins this time, no matter who it's going to be, if Gavin Newsom wins after they go through this whole process at the DNC, uh, he's gonna get a couple of those conservatives on off the Supreme Court, and then we're going to be dealing with a lot of crazy shit at that time because the people he'll put up are not going to be moderate Democrats type of things. It's going to be some of them what we already have, and then they're going to really deal with a lot of shit at that point. They're going to try to get rid of the electoral college. They're going to basically say keep the border open. Just common sense is what we'll lose, and we're already starting losing that. Most people in this comment in this country aren't aren't one side or the other. When it comes, they're not on the fringe on the other side. They just want common sense. We should do things for Americans. We shouldn't just pander to everybody else. We shouldn't give foreign aid to anybody until we get our own shit done here. And if you have this conversation in your hometown and you go to a diner or something like that and you just have this conversation, almost everybody, regardless of race, pretty much believes the same thing. And then we have these assholes on both sides that want us to be divided against each other. And it's great. This is theater. This is like reality TV shit. If you're into politics, it is what it is. But I'm fearful of the future. I think if Trump gets in, he's going to be somewhat moderate. I think he's going to want to make sure that he gets rid of people here that shouldn't be here. But the idea of he's going to get rid of 12 million people, that's just not going to happen. It's just going to be, you fuck up, we find that you're not here legally, he's going to get you out. And I think that's how we should be doing anyway. But it's going to be interesting. And it changes the narrative away from Trump anyway. It's like they're not really even talking about the assassination anymore. They're not talking about the fact that clearly there was something going on here. Either it was just so negligent, and then you still have to look at there's still motive there. If you're not going to be there, or you're going to be so negligent of what you're supposed to do, that means that there's probably a reason why you're that way. It was on everything that we saw. I thought that they were very slow to put him down on the stage. I thought the fact that they knew where he was for all this time, and they knew that this person was a threat, and they didn't tell anybody on the stage to get Trump off the stage. Trump should have never been on that stage. But this country, and again, this is Twitter. It's not the entire country, but there are a lot of people on the left that actually believe that Trump did all this stuff, even though he was doing well, probably was going to win the election regardless, being shot at. But now this changes everything because the Republicans cannot shy away, and they have to do it correctly because they're still going to say that you're bashing an old man. I mean, we've known that when he was talked to about his classified issues, Hur actually said that this was an older man that has issues cognitively. And there was no way we're going to go ahead and prosecute him because he probably doesn't know why he did what he did. And this guy goes in front of Congress, and there are people on the left saying that, oh, you're just doing it against political, or you just don't like him as this and that and all that. and it just went. People just forgot about it. And then we finally got to see it at the debate that he was having a bad night. And I've seen this in many, many times with him. Anybody who's ever been around people like this, older men that go through this type of stuff, you know what it looks like. Like I said, I've had issues after I had my big stroke that were very similar to how he was until my brain kind of like reformed back and back. This man in the past, he's had issues that were 30, 40 years ago. And he's just having a deep decline. And I think he'll say that in his speech. He said, "I've talked to my doctors, and this is what they see." The problem is, this was going on for a long time. So, what do you do at that point? You don't want to look like a bad person and saying that they should have known this, and why are you doing this? And you put the entire country at stake because you just want to have power. It's going to be very, very lying for the Republicans to talk about. Now, there's going to be like Taylor and other people like that. Margie Taylor is going to come out and say this. We've known this forever, and this is going to be that. I don't think that Trump will. I'm sure he'll put something out today, and he says, "I'll look forward to whoever I'm going to talk to." He was supposed to be fighting. He was supposed to have another debate against Joe coming up, but that's not going to happen. And I can't. What are you going to do now? Is Harris actually going to debate Vance, or after he talks next week, is he's basically going to say that he's going to? Is he going to cede her? I mean, I have to look at the actual quote. The best he said that he's trying to. It's the greatest honor of my life to be president and all this shit. Well, there's going to be people that are going to say things that are going to fire up people. I don't know what's next, and I said in my video a couple weeks ago, what's next? I guess this is it. And Vivek, of course, was correct, and we knew this was going to happen. And he said this was going to happen. He said, "Stop playing these games. That Biden's going to sit down," and now he has. Now, I don't think the man would have if he'd had a decent performance or just normal Joe, the newer Joe. I think if it was close, clearly the polling shows that Trump probably is going to win with a landslide, but his hold on that is very tenuous. It really is, because I think part of that is that people are not going to come out and vote for Biden, and independents were going to pay for Trump overall for Trump, and probably more black men were going to come out and vote for Trump. I think this kind of changes everything, and it depends who they nominated for it, but it's still going to be an unelected choice to win, because this is in modern history. This is new. It almost happened in '76, I think it was, because Ted Kennedy was trying to overthrow, kind of like brokered the convention, and at the end, Kennedy came out and said, "I'm going to put my shit together," with was it with Carter maybe? That's 18. That was 88, 1980, I think. Yeah, because Reagan came in and won. Like I said, it's a very, very, it's hard, but this is politics. The thing is the outcome of it all. I just don't want some. I mean, if Tulsi Gabbard was going to be as a Democrat and runs and was more moderate Democrat, that's fine. But there is nobody on that side that is that way. Gavin Newsom isn't. See what he just allowed in California. Don't tell parents that your kids are changing their identity gender identity at school. And then everybody, I mean, who is Harris? Harris will just be a puppet of whoever wants to be a puppet. And people say it's Obama and all that shit. And if Michelle comes out, I think Michelle would win the presidency. So would you have two black women at the top of the kick? Okay. But she hates America. So I don't think that that's something we need. So who else is there on the Democratic side? It has to be Gavin Newsom, or it's going to be Harris. I don't think anybody else would be. I think that their polling thinks that. I think that Harris is. I mean, come on. And they're going to still say if you don't vote for it that it's racist, because they're going to try to pull that card. It says still It's all racism that you can't vote for a white or a black woman. In my mind, she's not. She's both mostly Indian, but it doesn't. Not that that matters. Um, I don't know what this is, how it works, or we're just a laughing stock anyway. Because I don't want to be upset about this. I really don't. I don't want to be upset about it. But my party, because I'm still a Democrat, they knew exactly that he was this way, and they just did it off, and they didn't care about it. They didn't care about the American people, and dude was never open up during. I mean, he would go to sleep at 8 o'clock at night, as people that age usually do. Um, I don't know. I'm gonna stop right now. I, I don't want to be. I mean, clearly he needs to sit down. He should step down. If he's not going to reelect, he needs to step down for the presidency right now. And should be the first woman ever to be a president. And I think that's the best thing they should do, because it gives them, seeing that she did this for 3 or 4 months, she's ready to do it. If she's supposed to be so good at everything she does, and she was the vice president all this time, and she did all this shit, even though she didn't do anything, she should be the president, and they'd find a vice president, and then they should run. But I don't know how that works. I don't know. I think it has to be a broker convention. I think they have to go in and there'll have to be 4 or 5 people that are going to be nominated for this. They might have already set out the only one person that's going to be it. It might just be Harris, because Gavin Newsom won't do it because he might think that he will lose, and you don't want to lose running for president. Uh, I just can't even imagine if he, oh, the other thing about Hillary is not, she's like George Bush. She's not. We're just living in a world thing. I mean, it was like this timeline is just going crazy. Um, anyway, I'm going to stop. You guys have a good day. We'll see what happens. Again, this is theory of the absurd. A party that knew exactly that this man had this issues, and they allowed him to do this until finally they came up and basically said, "Hey, you better do this, or we're going to we're going to go after your son," and all the bullshit like that. That's exactly what happens here. And I'm sure that the next president is going to pardon all these people, even if it's Trump. I think he probably would. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.